The man nobody bet on. In a small rented apartment on the edge of Phoenix, Arizona, Michael Reeves stared at the ceiling at 2:47 a.m. No notifications, no emails, no success stories loading on his phone. Just silence. At 32, Michael had already failed more times than most people ever admitted. And the worst part? He had nothing to show for it. A normal beginning with abnormal dreams. Michael didn't grow up poor, but he didn't grow up privileged either. His father worked in maintenance. His mother was a hospital receptionist. They believed in stability, college, job, retirement. Michael believed in something else, ownership. Even as a teenager, he hated the idea of trading time for money. He didn't know what business was. He just knew he didn't want to be replaceable. The first taste of entrepreneurship. At 19, Michael launched his first business, a basic online store selling phone accessories. Cheap products, generic suppliers, no differentiation. It failed quietly. No dramatic collapse, just zero sales. Michael blamed marketing, then timing, then luck. He never blamed the idea. That mistake would follow him for years. Chasing trends instead of truth. Over the next 7 years, Michael chased everything that looked profitable. Drop shipping, Amazon FBA, affiliate websites, crypto mining, social media agencies. Each one promised freedom. Each one delivered frustration. Some made a little money. Most lost more. But Michael never quit. He just kept switching directions. People said, "At least he's trying." What they really meant was, he hasn't figured it out yet. The cost nobody talks about. Failure wasn't just financial, it was social. Friends stopped asking questions. Family dinners became uncomfortable. People spoke slowly around him, as if explaining life to someone behind. Michael noticed something painful. Nobody respected effort. They respected results. The corporate detour. At 27, reality caught up. Savings gone, credit cards maxed. Michael took a corporate operations job. Logistics company, mid-level role. He told himself it was temporary, but weeks turned into months, months into years, and something strange happened. He started learning. Where the real education began. Michael saw how businesses actually worked, not the Instagram version, the messy version. Late deliveries, human errors, broken communication, outdated systems. Small inefficiencies multiplied into massive losses. The company didn't fail because of competition. It failed because of chaos. That idea stayed with him. The problem everyone ignored. Michael noticed something odd. Big companies had tools for everything. Small and mid-sized businesses had spreadsheets and hope. They lost money daily, not because they were lazy, but because they lacked systems. Michael wrote in a notebook, "Most businesses don't need innovation, they need organization." He almost ignored that thought. It wasn't exciting, and that scared him. The decision that cost him comfort. At 30, Michael quit his job. Again. This time, nobody supported him. Not friends, not family. He didn't argue, he didn't explain, he just left. Because this time, he wasn't chasing trends, he was chasing a problem he understood deeply. Building without applause. Michael started alone. No team, no investors, just a laptop and notebooks full of observations. He built a simple internal tool. Not software yet, just a process. Manual systems that reduced errors. He tested it with small local businesses. Most said no, some laughed. One said yes. The first proof, not profit. The first business saved money, not a lot, but consistently. Michael documented everything, every mistake, every improvement. He wasn't building a startup, he was building evidence. The second failure that almost broke him. Michael tried turning the system into software, rushed development, hired cheap freelancers, ignored testing. The tool broke, Clients left, refunds issued. Michael was back at zero, again at 31. The night he questioned everything. That night, Michael sat alone and asked a dangerous question. What if I'm not meant for this? He had tried for 10 years. Nothing had worked. But then he realized something uncomfortable. Every failure happened when he rushed. Every small success happened when he slowed down. The shift from founder to problem solver. Michael stopped calling himself an entrepreneur. He became an operator. He sat inside businesses, watched workflows, asked annoying questions. Why is this manual? Why does this depend on one person? Why does this fail when someone is sick? Patterns emerged. A business nobody bragged about. Michael rebuilt quietly. One feature, one workflow, one customer type. No launch, no hype. Just solving one painful problem extremely well. He charged modestly. Customers stayed, not because it was exciting, but because it worked. Michael was still unknown, still invisible to the world, but something had changed. He wasn't chasing success anymore. He was building something necessary, and that would change everything. When stability became dangerous, Michael's business was finally stable. Not exciting, not viral, but predictable. Monthly recurring revenue crossed $40,000. Bills were paid, debt was shrinking, sleep was normal again. And that's when the most dangerous thought entered his mind. Maybe this is enough. Many businesses die here, not from failure, from comfort. The question that changed direction. One evening, Michael reviewed customer data. He noticed something powerful. Clients weren't using just one feature. They were adapting the system across departments, operations, inventory, scheduling, reporting. They weren't buying software. They were buying structure. Michael wrote a new question in his notebook. What if this wasn't a tool, but a foundation? That question changed the scale of everything. Building for growth without losing control. Michael refused to scale fast. Instead, he did something unusual. He documented everything. Processes, mistakes, fixes, customer objections. He turned chaos into systems. When he finally hired his first employee, that person didn't guess. They followed a system. Then a second hire, then a third. No confusion, no burnout, just clarity. The first real threat. 6 months later, a large software company released a similar product. Better design, bigger marketing budget, louder promises. Michael felt fear again. Customers asked, why shouldn't we switch? Michael didn't attack the competitor. He did something smarter. He showed data, before versus after numbers, costs saved, errors reduced. He didn't sell potential, he sold proof. Most customers stayed. The offer that tested his values. An acquisition offer arrived, 7 figures, life-changing money. The condition? Michael would step aside. The product would be merged. Customers would be pushed into upsells. Michael didn't answer immediately. He thought about the last 10 years, the failures, the debt, the loneliness. This offer would erase all that, but it would also erase the reason the business existed. He declined, not because he was brave, but because he finally knew who he was. Scaling the right way. Instead of selling, Michael expanded horizontally. Different industries, same core problem. Manufacturing, logistics, healthcare suppliers, regional distributors. The system adapted. Revenue doubled, then doubled again. Without marketing hype, just referrals. The moment the numbers became unreal. 5 years after his lowest point, Michael sat in a boardroom he didn't own. Bankers reviewed projections. They said the number out loud. Valuation, $300 million. Michael didn't smile, not because he wasn't happy, but because the number felt unreal. 10 years of failure reduced to one sentence. The quiet celebration. There was no party, no champagne. Michael went home, sat alone, and remembered the nights he questioned his worth. The nights nobody believed. The nights quitting felt logical. This moment wasn't luck, it was delayed payment. Returning to the past, the final irony. Michael visited his old corporate office. Same building, same desks. different perspective. The system he once observed from within, he now sold from the outside, not to dominate, but to improve. What Michael finally understood about business. Michael learned something most people never do. Business isn't about intelligence, or confidence, or speed. It's about alignment. When the problem is real, the solution is clear, the execution is patient, success becomes inevitable. The real definition of failure. Michael didn't fail for 10 years. He trained. Every failed idea taught him what didn't matter. Every rejection sharpened his focus. Every loss removed ego. Failure wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Michael's company isn't famous, but it's essential, profitable, respected, independent. No hype cycles, no fragile growth, just value that compounds quietly. Michael once believed success meant winning fast. Now he knows better. The best businesses aren't built to impress, they're built to last. If you're failing right now, you're not behind, you're just early and learning.